As I peruse social media, I see people looking for life advice, dating advice, and advice on finding an honest person. There's a whole lot of topics that people are looking for right now, trying to get a better understanding of, or trying to inform their opinion a little bit more. TikTok would be one of these such places. TikTok, a social media site that is known by the US government to be Chinese spyware. It is known, sorry to kind of quote Game of Thrones there, but it is known that TikTok is stealing your private data. It's accessing all sorts of apps on your phone and giving that data to the Chinese Communist Party. And yet, this is where people get their news source from, right? This is where young people turn to get opinions. Shows up on their feed, some person rambling for 30 seconds to a minute about some personal opinion they have, and they do all this, flashy show stuff to make their videos sound logical, their video to seem perfect, right? To make it sound like they have the perfect opinion because look at everything else in their background, it's perfect. I don't agree with that. I think it's lazy, honestly, to just throw out your 30-second opinion and declare it to be fact, and that anyone who opposes you must be crazy. Whereas I, on the other hand, sit here for 5 minutes to 30 minutes, depending how long the episode is, or if it's a live stream like today, maybe we'll go longer. Maybe we'll go an hour or 2 hours. We'll see what happens. Are you able to be confronted on your ideological babbling nonsense and maintain the points that you're trying to argue? Or are you going to crumble like a glass house as soon as the cracks are shown in your armor, in your ideological plot points? One thing I hear about on TikTok lately is there's this viral video about how this woman's claiming that abortion is healthcare, period. And if you disagree with that, you're just wrong and crazy. And she goes off for about 45 more seconds in just a completely incoherent manner, trying to use euphemisms as scientific and biological facts. As I've done on my programs before, I made an episode entirely about abortion. What did we talk about? We talked about and showed images of what a child looks like at each stage of development in each of the 3 trimesters of a pregnancy. We showed still images of exactly what is inside a woman's tummy days after being pregnant, weeks after being pregnant, months after being pregnant. And if you are a rational, sane human being who actually understands science and can accept that this is truth, then you would understand that no matter what point you consider conception to take place at during a pregnancy, conception takes place almost immediately and cells begin to replicate and reproduce. And it is going to be a potential human life. It's not like you're growing a dragon inside of you, or a duck, or platypus, or a freaking bald eagle. You have DNA of a new human being inside of you. You have DNA that has never been coded that way before. You have DNA inside of you that is not your own, nor is it the Father's. You have something inside of you that is not yours. It is half of your making and half of the, I guess, depending who I'm talking to, it's either half yours, the male's, and half the mother's child. However, it's a completely new entity. If we're talking about DNA, nothing has been exactly like that human before. And that's great. That's awesome, right? Every single person is one of a kind and unique in their own minute, tiny, or very large different ways. And that's good. Like I say all the time, it would be boring if we were all the same. But you are taking away the potential for life, for a human life. That is what abortion is. You are ending the life of whatever is inside of you. Yes, we can have a quick side discussion about when abortions may or should be necessary. I've lived through it. I understand sometimes there are medical necessities that take place, in which case an abortion is legally and morally justified. And I agree with that. I think most rational people can. I think most people can understand that when the life of the mother is at risk, or in my case, it was a fallopian tube pregnancy with twins. One twin was stuck in the fallopian tube. They told the mother that they were going to have to abort both children to be able to save the mother's life. And I, a Christian, said, okay, I understand that. And I think that is the rational, moral, and right thing to do. Was I wrong? Maybe. But I think that was the more morally correct choice. I mean, there wasn't a choice there, right? It was, you must accept this abortion, or 3 people will die. And I get that. Sometimes it's necessary. You cannot argue with me that every pregnancy is going to be a fallopian tube or ectopic or, like the delivery. You can't guarantee that every baby's head's going to have their umbilical cord wrapped around the head or that they're going to come out backwards. Like the majority of births go normally as far as that can be maintained. Every birth is different. I get that. What am I trying to say here? What I'm trying to say here is that abortion is not healthcare. Abortion is the guaranteed termination of a potential life. An abortion is not successful unless that life has no further chance of developing. Can we agree on that? That is what abortion is. Healthcare, the definition according to Merriam-Webster, is efforts made to maintain or restore physical, mental, or emotional well-being, especially by trained and licensed professionals. Do no harm. Continue life. That's the main objective of those in the healthcare field, to prolong life and give you a satisfactory, if not great way of living. Maybe we can try and have a quick side discussion about assisted suicide, right? Maybe this can almost be tied together. Except you are a grown adult asking for your life to be ended in assisted suicide. One would assume you have lived, let's just say 18 years at a minimum. At most places, we consider that to be an adult of decision-making age. So maybe if you're going through such imaginable pain and just unbearable hell that you can't even endure another day, and you ask to be medically assisted, have a medically assisted suicide, I mean, there's debates to be had. As a Christian, I wouldn't do it because I believe suicide is a sin. As you're taking away God's creation, you're destroying his creation, similar to murder. However, why shouldn't atheists be held to that same standard? If freedom is free, the atheist should be able to choose that if they so choose, right? But again, they are choosing. They are making the conscious decision of hopefully, weighing the pros and cons and coming to a rational middle-of-the-road decision of what's best for them in their life. With abortion, someone told women that they have godlike decision-making authority over things that are growing inside of them. I mean, where do I start on this? We consider bacteria on Mars to be life. Yet we can't agree that a fetus on Earth is a child. Abortion is murder, or at least it's the potential. It is the termination for potential human life. And I cannot agree with it as a wholesale means of healthcare or women's rights. Nowhere in the Constitution do you have a right to kill anybody for any reason, period. Except self-defense, right? But that's self-defense because someone else is trying to kill you. Women get to kill a child when their life is not in grave, immediate danger. Again, we just had the conversation. If it is in grave, immediate danger, I understand. But if it's not, it's murder.